Welcome back in, guys. This is JE Live. I am Jake Ellenbogen, and we're going to be talking about the playoffs. Man, all right. I'll admit the display, it looks different. You're not going crazy because it is different. Because I put a lot of different work into it. I wanted to make it better. It looks more like the old Office look, so that's what we decided to do. Welcome in, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great Thursday. It is Throwback Thursday. It's why, not just why, but we did do a lot of loop streams today. So if you guys were wondering why for 8 hours running I was going live, I wasn't actually live. So I do appreciate everyone that was in there. Even had some donations from people. Really awesome stuff there. Just a lot of fun. But guys, I'm really excited to talk about football. And honestly, you guys know that because I just love obviously talking about football. But with this game, with the Rams and Bucks, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like, can it get here now? But on top of it, I'm also really interested in the rest of the league, and we're gonna kick it off on Saturday, the 22nd. Once again, with the Bengals game, it's going to be Bengals, the 4 seed, taking on the 1 seed Titans. The Cincinnati is actually 0-7 all-time in road playoff games, and the Titans are going to be getting back Derrick Henry, so that should be an incredible matchup. We're going to break that down, get into it. We'll also be doing that for the Niners and Packers. Aaron Rodgers is 0-3 in career playoff appearances against San Francisco. Then you have the Rams and Buccaneers, where Tom Brady is 14-2 in divisional round playoff games, but he's also 2-4 in the last. The Bucs are 2-4 in the last 6 meetings against Matthew Stafford, and then you have the Bills and Chiefs to wrap it up, and using Patrick Mahomes as quarterback. There is no team in the history of the league that has scored more points per game in the postseason than the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, and that is 32.2 points per game. So just incredible numbers, right off the bat there. But that's how we're gonna do that. I'm just really excited to get into it. Excited to have you guys here. I don't know why you got kicked out. Let me see if I can. 1 second here. Yeah, I don't know why. That shouldn't happen. So again, I'll try to look into that. They, not really helping me out, but I'll try to look into that, make sure that you don't get, disconnected. But appreciate everyone being here. If you guys did get kicked out, please just be sure to join again. And I don't think you'll get kicked out a second time, but yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start it off. We're going to, go with the Bengals and Titans, the 10-7 Bengals taking on the 12-5 Titans. Looking at this game, there's a lot that could go wrong on either side. I mean, the Titans have really faltered as far as offensively. They've had a hard time, but it's because they haven't had Derrick Henry since the middle of the season, a guy that almost had 1,000 yards at the middle point of the season. That offense has struggled without him. We did see, against the San Francisco 49ers, that game on Thursday Night Football, a guy by the name of A.J. Brown really come alive in that game and help out, Ryan Tannehill. But here's the thing, is that if Derrick Henry comes out any bit, shaky or, sluggish or whatever, Cincinnati has enough weapons to win this game. Make no mistake about it. You look at Joe Mixon. We talked about him being kind of like what I would imagine what Cam Akers is going to be to the Rams. Mixon can help you out of the backfield as a pass catcher. He can help you, obviously, as a blocker, but he's great, running in between the tackles, running off tackle. This is somebody that can kind of do it all. And it's really been a help for Joe Burrow, who, by the way, in case you missed it, during the regular season, he was the most accurate quarterback on target throw percentage. So, I look at this Bengals team as, they definitely are equipped to, do this upset. They are equipped to handle this. I mean, the Titans aren't really being respected as the number 1 seed by a lot of people, and, they'll be looking for obviously some respect in this regard. But when you look at the Bengals, I mean, at the end of the day, they have, big time playmakers. I mean, look at, Tyler Boyd, look at T. Higgins, and then definitely don't forget about, 1,500 yard receiver and a rookie at that, Jamar Chase, who already had the familiarity and the chemistry with Joe Burrow from his days at LSU. I think Jamar Chase is really the key to the puzzle, because here's the thing. When you look at this team, they're never out when they have a guy like Jamar Chase. They're never out when they have a guy like T. Higgins, and they're never out when they have a guy like Tyler Boyd. But, it's all about the quarterback, and Burrow can make any throw. So I'm having a hard time picking this game. I kind of lean towards the Titans. Then you look, of course, the Titans and what they did to the Rams. On Sunday Night Football, I think the Titans did a great job of, overloading the middle of the, the trenches, and, what they have with, I mean, here's the thing. Like, with the Titans, they have a good defense. It's coached by a defensive-minded guy. Jeffrey Simmons, I thought, played very well. Danico Autry played very well against the Rams. They just, that's kind of the blueprint. If you can get to Joe Burrow and pressure him up the gut, and make sure that they can't really run the football, it's going to be hard for the Bengals. I mean, you definitely have guys on the Bengals that are impressive, like, a Jesse Bates, a Logan Wilson, and you can't forget about Trey Hendrickson, who was such a good signing. I can't stress that enough. But the fact is, I mean, you don't know how these guys are going to, be able to defend Derrick Henry. If Henry is 100% and Henry looks anything like we saw out of Akers, who missed almost the whole season, Henry missing half the season, it means that he's, more fresh, if anything. And who's to say he couldn't have come back a few weeks ago? I feel like they did it the right way. And, I just think he's definitely going to be a problem. And, here's the thing. Henry really isn't all that great in the first few quarters. It's when, the grind of the game really gets to you. So if you can't get off the field and Derrick Henry's just going to keep just eating up your defense, then it's going to open up the play-action passing attack, with Ryan Tannehill, which we found out Derrick Henry obviously can play in. Over the last few years, he's really improved as a pass catcher. So that is not a bet I'm willing to make against the Titans. I do think that they'll be able to run the ball with Derrick Henry. And to be honest with you, I won't be surprised if either team wins this game. But I'm going to go with the Titans here in Tennessee, the number 1 seed. I have 30-23. I think that Ryan Tannehill is obviously not the quality of quarterback that Joe Burrow is, but Joe Burrow is going to keep them in this game. I don't feel like he's going to play like, the moment's too big for him. I just think it's going to be a little too much. When you're dealing with Derrick Henry, a fresh legs Derrick Henry, you have A.J. Brown, you have Julio Jones, who even stepped up towards the end of the season when he finally became healthy. There's a way to win this. They're getting back Saffold. Like, this offensive line is going to be better. All in all, the Titans feel like a team that is not one to sleep on. And the Bengals feel like they're a little bit early, which is fine. I mean, it's great for them, but the Bengals remind me so much, and I can't stress it enough, so much of the LA Rams, the year they hosted a home playoff game against the Falcons in 2017. They felt like it was a year too early. You could see them, if everything came together, you could see them winning a Super Bowl, but it just felt like they got there a little early and that they would probably be humbled a little bit and lose. And that's exactly what happened. They lost to the Falcons. Obviously, it took a lot of crazy things to happen, including 2 muff punts from, their Pro Bowl punt returner, but all-pro punt returner. But that's not the point. The point is that Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, and those guys have done a tremendous job to get to this point in the season. Nobody believed in them coming into this season, and here they are. They're now 10-7. They're in the playoffs. They're in the divisional round, and they have a chance to play to go to the AFC title game against the Bills or the Chiefs, where anything can happen. They have an offense that can match anybody. I'm just worried about Derrick Henry being the equalizer more than Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase can help you with the big play, but just because Derrick Henry is built like a Mack truck doesn't mean he can't also help you with the big play. We've seen him have a 99-yard touchdown before. This guy will score on any level of the field. He is incredibly strong, and we've seen in the postseason he wears teams out. So I'm going to go 30-23 Titans. Cincinnati falls to 0-8 in road playoff games. That's a little bit of a skewed stat. It has nothing to do with the Burrow, offense, or nothing to do with what, Zach Taylor's doing. But credit to Zach Taylor. This has been an incredible season for the Bengals. And to me, they are where I would have expected Arizona to be next year. So they are ahead of Arizona. And everyone was, praising Arizona and calling them, potential Super Bowl contenders. I mean, to me, they're a year early, but if they win this game, man, they're going to be scary, because literally they have done everything that anyone could have asked for. And if they get to the AFC title game, all bets are off. They have a chance to win the whole thing and go to the Super Bowl. So I'll take the Titans here. I'll take experience. I'll take Derrick Henry. Mainly Derrick Henry is the reason why I'm steering in that direction. But, regardless, I definitely don't think that you can just sleep on Joe Burrow and, the Bengals. I'm not about to write them off entirely, and I don't think anybody should, to be honest with you. So moving on, we have the 8:15 slot for the 49ers and Packers on Saturday, January 22nd. Now, with this game, I keep going back and forth on this. Aaron Rodgers, I actually firmly believe is the GOAT, okay? I believe that he is the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. I believe he can make any throw, and if he didn't have Mike McCarthy as his head coach, he would probably have 7 or 8 or 9 Super Bowls. I mean, I think it would be as much as Brady, if not more, if you put him with Belichick. That's just my opinion. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to, agree with me, but that's how I feel. So my thing here is that he has a monkey on his back that no one is talking about. I'm sure people are talking about now, but I haven't heard it mentioned enough. And that is going against the Niners in the postseason. This is somebody that wanted to play for the Niners. He was expected to go as the first pick. A lot of people felt like he was the best prospect coming out of Cal. But then, of course, they picked Alex Smith out of Utah, that whole thing. But, I mean, here's the thing, okay? Aaron Rodgers, 49ers, we know he's going to make everyone play. We know that. But he's gone 0-3 against the Niners in the postseason, no matter who the quarterback was, and that includes Colin Kaepernick, who's not even in the league right now, So, I mean, obviously, he was the best quarterback this year. Obviously, he's probably going to end up winning MVP because, I mean, that's just the way it is. Quarterbacks always win it. Cooper Kupp should, but that's whatever. But here's the thing. The Niners were the worst draw for the Packers. They were a worse draw for the Packers than it would have been for the Bucs. Here's my thing with the Niners, okay? The Niners can run the ball. And they can run the ball, and they can keep you on the field, and they can really do a number on your defense, which tires your defense out, which takes your offense out of a rhythm. It's very simple. If you want to be Aaron Rodgers, eat the clock. Don't get into a shootout with him. You can win those. Kirk Cousins knows how to win those. Obviously, they won in Minnesota, but that's not the point. The point is, the best way to neutralize Aaron Rodgers' lethal passing offense, no matter who is receiving, we know he can do it. The best way to do that is by keeping him on the sideline and off the field. And the 49ers have a recipe for doing that. They did that with Dallas. You look, Deebo Samuel. First off, just run it with Samuel. Like, stop trying to be cute. I know it's already sounding cute because they're using a wide receiver as a running back. Deebo Samuel's the best running back on the team. No one could tell me otherwise. He's one of the most dangerous players in the entire postseason, and he's really irritating. I'm a Rams fan. I'll admit I'm not the biggest fan of his because I'm a Rams fan, but you have to appreciate greatness, and he is phenomenal at basically just being a gadget guy. He is more than a gadget guy, but essentially he is the most unstoppable gadget guy in the league. Because the Rams haven't figured it out. No team has really figured it out. The only team that has figured out how to stop Deebo Samuel is the Niners. You know how we talk about like Darrell Henderson earlier in the year where I was like, he had 14 carries for over 80 yards against the Cardinals. The only thing stopping him was Sean McVay. The only thing stopping Deebo Samuel, the guy, ironically, is the guy we give so much credit to, is Kyle Shanahan. Sure, you can give him credit for putting him in that position, finding out he could be that. But could I not also make the argument that because you do that, because you use him that way and you found out that he thrives that way, you're being an idiot when you stop using him. He should get 15 to 20 carries a game. He is the best running back on their team. Like I said, he's the best receiver on their team. He needs to be used. And the thing is, he breaks tackles. That is the big, big thing in the archetype of what Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have looked for at wide receiver. And they've needed to, because Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be a gunslinger. He's not going to take the big throw. And when he does, it's probably not going to work out very well. So the quick, short and intermediate passing attack in that modified West Coast style offense with Kyle Shanahan You get guys like a Brandon Ayuk, like Deebo Samuel, like Jalen Hurd, who didn't end up working out, but you get guys that are built like running backs to withstand, contact, run through arm tackles, break tackles, create more yards after the catch, create more yards after the run, and that is how you work. And so with Dallas, they could not stop Deebo Samuel on first contact. He was absolutely ripping them in half. And, the only thing that stopped Deebo Samuel was they didn't even get him over 50 yards receiving. And, rushing, he could have kept going. They just stopped giving him the ball. Now, here's the good thing. Elijah Mitchell is there, and he's playing well. So Elijah Mitchell's running the ball well. Deebo Samuel's running the ball well. Look, I understand you got Kenny Clark in the middle and Dean Lowry, and, at times I really have been impressed with the way the Packers have defended the run. And the defense has looked really good. But here's the thing. This is a different animal, okay? The Niners almost beat them earlier in the year. I don't necessarily think that it is far-fetched to assume that this 6 seed is actually better than the 3-seeded Dallas Cowboys. They beat them, and I think they were better than them the whole way. It's why I picked them. I think this is a horrible matchup for the Packers. I understand they're at Lambeau, the frozen tundra, all of that. This just does not feel right. If you're a Packers fan, this is not the matchup you wanted to draw. So what it comes down to is this. You probably wanted the Rams, and to be honest with you probably wouldn't have beaten the Rams, but you probably wanted the Rams. In the Niners, you have that monkey on Rodgers' back. I don't like this game for the Packers. I think they're going to keep it very conservative with Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to run the football. They're going to keep Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines. And at the end of the day, Kyle Shanahan's just going to run it a bunch of times. And, that hot team, that team playing very, very hot, that went into the postseason hot, they're going to be a problem as they head on to the NFC title game. And so I have the 49ers winning this game 27-23. I just feel like when you look at it, the Packers have all of the weapons. Sure, Devontae Adams could go off. Sure, Aaron Rodgers can make things happen, but I just don't expect them to get enough opportunities. This is the same team against the Rams the last game of the year that they took the entire third quarter practically away from the Rams just by running the football. They know how to milk the clock. Kyle Shanahan knows this, and the Niners have just had success against Aaron Rodgers no matter who's been there. I do believe that comes into play, and so I think the Niners do upset the Green Bay Packers on the road and get that revenge win that they missed earlier in the year in the final minutes. So we move on to Sunday, and the first game of Sunday at January 23rd, 4th-seeded Rams take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 2nd seed. The Rams are 12-5, Bucs are 13-4. This is a game that I will be breaking down in detail tomorrow, and we'll also have a podcast, a Downtown Rams podcast. But here's the thing, okay? This is going to be an eye-opener, I think, for a lot of people that really just aren't sure where they are on the Rams. I'm expecting the Rams to win this game, and I'm expecting them to make a statement in this one. Tom Brady has not played well against Sean McVay. He didn't play well in the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. Probably didn't play well enough to win a Super Bowl. The defense really picked him up in that one for the Patriots. But, the last 2 games that they've played against, the Sean McVay Rams, Brady lost against Jared Goff last season, gave up plenty of yards. Tampa Bay did against, Cooper Kupp, and, really had a hard time, not throwing to Jordan Fuller. Well, Fuller's out. But that doesn't really, that's not really, obviously it matters, but it's not going to matter as much as, having new quarterback Matthew Stafford. And we saw, this ended up being a 34-24 game at the end of the day, earlier in the year. But the Rams really dominated Tampa on all fronts. Yeah, sure, Tom Brady threw over 400 yards, and I know that's what people are now talking about, but I don't really care about that. The 400 yards didn't matter. It only resulted in 24 points, which, regardless of what you want to say, it was 17 in garbage time. So, really that's what it came down to. Garbage time put that to a 10-point game, but reality they won by 17 and could have won by more. Now, I understand I've been seeing, Buccaneers fans out there say, well, Deshaun Jackson isn't there, so it's a different team. Exactly, and that doesn't help you. We don't really know how good this team can be because we haven't seen we haven't seen the offense really come alive and have that complete moment like the Bills. If they ever get that, they're going to be unbeatable. And to me, I feel like when you have all of those talents, it's just only a matter of time before you do get a game like that. And it could be this weekend, could be next game, it could even be in the Super Bowl, but I do think it's coming. I do think the Rams are going to have an offensive explosion where Sean McVay just kind of stays out of the way, lets his players do what they need to do. And I think just really, I can't stress enough how important it is that Cam Akers is back, what he provides to this team, what he provides, to this offense, and furthermore, what he does as far as game planning against this offense. Because now, what do? Do you try to sell out to stop Cam Akers? Tampa didn't see Darrell Henderson. He was out, so that was Sony Michel's first start. He didn't get to his 70 yards, but really, when you look at this Bucs defense, they've done a nice job over the last 2 years of really being the best run defense in the league. Well, lately, what people aren't realizing is they're giving up over 5 yards per carry in the last 3 games. So what does that tell me? Well, they're winning those games, but they're not going against great competition. Guys, teams like the Jets and the Eagles and the Panthers, not really too worried about them. This is still the same offense that got shut out by the Saints. And furthermore, who's to say, we talk about the Saints being the kryptonite, who's to say the Rams aren't the kryptonite right now? The Bucs have not beaten them the last 2 years. So, this is a huge game for both teams, obviously. Tampa might not have 2 of their best offensive linemen. They won't have 2 of their best 3 receivers. Obviously, Antonio Brown is gone. But furthermore, Chris Godwin. And I can't stress enough, Chris Godwin, if you guys have been following me for a while, Chris Godwin is a guy that I loved coming out of the 2017 class out of Penn State. This is somebody that is an incredible blocker, and really, he would have been able to thrive well in Sean McVay's offense. So when you're looking at a guy like that can not only high point the football, is fast, can block, he just does it all. So he's an incredible loss, and now you have Mike Evans, who you can put Jalen Ramsey on, or you can put him on, Rob Gronkowski. If you remember, Jordan Fuller was on Rob Gronkowski, so there's something there, he might be able to have a little bit of a game, but, the Rams, I think they're going to win this game, and I think it's going to be because Cam Akers. Going back to what I was saying, Tampa over the last 3 games, we could talk about the story of the whole season, but that would be skewed. Tampa over the last 3 games against the run has allowed more than 5 yards per carry. The reason that they have won those games, and the reason it hasn't come back to bite them, and the reason it looks good on paper because they only give up 48 rushing yards, is because teams abandon the run when they go down. But when you look at the Rams, they can't go down early. This is a team that can compete. They're not like the Eagles. So as long as they stay in this game, they can continue to run the football. And if they can continue to run the football and force Tampa to stop Cam Akers, if they even do that, they have alternate avenues to go. They can put Cam Akers in the backfield or Sony Michel. They can have them pass catch. They can go deep to Odell. They can go deep to Cooper. They can go deep to, Van. I just think there's so many different weapons. It's a pick your poison approach. And I just don't see how Tampa is going to be able to fight against this team. I haven't been overly impressed with Tampa. They haven't played really anybody on the level of what the Rams were playing. And none of the teams that they played were in the playoffs, including the Saints, who looked like they could potentially make the playoffs, but did not. So the Rams were going up against teams like the Ravens that were dying to make the playoffs, not the Jets, but the Ravens, where they needed to win every single game to get in. They were going up against teams like the Vikings, who same thing, needed to win every single game to get in. They were going up against teams like that. They went up against the 49ers. Now, I know they lost the 49ers, but it took some incredible play from the 49ers and things to go wrong for the Rams, all sorts of things, to turn a 0.4% chance of winning into an actual win. So I look at Tampa and I say, look, who have they beaten, really? Legitimately, who have they beaten? They lost to Taylor Heineke. They lost to Taysom Hill. They lost to Trevor Siemian. They lost to Matthew Stafford. So they didn't beat the Rams. Okay, they beat Dallas week 1. Who's to say they would have beaten Dallas later on? I think this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, and let's be honest with you, the reason people are saying over and over and over again why that they believe in the Buccaneers is because they are defending Super Bowl champions. They're not looking at the fact that all these guys are hurt. And furthermore, Tom Brady could literally be on the worst team in the league, and everyone is going to give him a chance because he's Tom Brady. So I'm looking at this game. I understand the Rams are on the road, but they're 7-2 on the road. They're not a bad road team. And I understand, Tampa wants to do that whole thing. They're 14-1 when wearing the white tops. Great. Great for you. That's awesome. Well, here's the thing. The Rams don't care. And it's not about uniforms. The Rams were undefeated when leading at halftime going into week 18. They were undefeated leading at they were leading at halftime going into the second half of week 15, that game, or week 18 against the 49ers, and they lost. So if anybody is looking bleak, if they're thinking that, oh, they have no chance because of uniform status and win-loss record, hate to break it to you, streaks always end. That's why there's streaks. If they weren't, then like it'd be infinite. But streaks always come to an end, and so that's kind of my thing. So looking at this, I'm gonna say right now the Rams win this game, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be 31-20. I think the Rams are the better team than the Buccaneers. They showed it earlier in the year back when, the Buccaneers had this whole offense figured out. Wasn't brand new. Obviously, they didn't have Antonio Brown, okay? They didn't have Sean Murphy-Bunting or JPP. But for the most part, they were healthier. And the Rams in week 4 of the season, they had to figure things out, and it was a brand new offense, and Stafford was still learning, and guys were still learning it, and they didn't have Cam Akers. Cam Akers changes the game. To me, what it looks like is that the Rams are the better team. They have been this year. They went through a bad 3-game stretch that really hurts any argument about who they've played. It doesn't matter who they've played and who they've lost to. We've seen this team overcome that. They went on a 5-game winning streak, and then against the Cardinals, they came out and fired on all cylinders, winning 34-11 in their house, the same house that they were embarrassed with, the same house that they lost a 17-point lead the week prior. They've shown playoff conditioning by beating teams close and by winning those close games and closing the deal. But they have a quarterback that has the best second half passer rating in the league. They have a quarterback that hasn't thrown an interception in the fourth quarter. They have a quarterback that really is up for this challenge. And whether we're going to continue to doubt him or not, Matthew Stafford is going to continue to prove you wrong. He's done an incredible job this season. It's absolutely not talked about enough because of his interception total. But here's the thing, okay? Tom Brady can throw for 400 yards in this game all day, but if the Rams win, it really doesn't matter. And that's exactly what happened earlier in the year. So Rams 31-20. I think that you're going to see Cooper Kupp emerge a little bit more in this game. It's not going to be the norm of him, being around the 60-yard mark. They will use him as a decoy if they have to, but I don't think Tampa is going to fall for it the way Arizona did. You take Cooper Kupp out of the game, you are absolutely underestimating what the Rams have in their arsenal with Tyler Higbee, Van Jefferson, Odell, Cam Akers, Sony Michel. I mean, you just can't do that. So, with that said, the Rams will establish the run. They will run against this impenetrable Buccaneers front, and all of a sudden people will be like, oh my God, they're running against the Buccaneers. Who is stopping this team? And that's what's going to happen, okay? Cam Akers is going to get the brunt of the carries, and this is how it should be. He's going to come back. He's going to do his thing. He had 40-plus yards taken away due to penalties. He would have had over 100 total yards from scrimmage in his second game back, his true first game. He actually technically started. While he wasn't in the backfield to start the game, he had more snaps than Sony Michel. He's getting ready. He's amping up. You have Ernest Jones now, who just basically got added to the roster off of IR. We'll see if he comes back, but there's a potential. The way Traven Howard's playing, I feel like you could put Traven Howard on Gronkowski the way he's been covering, former defensive back at a TCU. Then Terrell Burgess, if he has to play. If Taylor Rapp, you put Taylor Rapp in the box, help in run support. The way the pass rushers are playing, Von Miller's starting to really light it up and be, ironically, a lot like Ndamukong Suh was the year they went to the Super Bowl. Aaron Donald. It doesn't matter if here's the thing, if Ryan Jensen plays or not, or if Tristan Wirfs plays or not. Here's the thing, okay? Those guys are not 100%. So if you want to trot out Ryan Jensen at 75% against Aaron Donald and say good luck, fine, by all means. But guess what? Sean Hockley is going to be the referee in this game. Hockley calls a ton of penalties. He's literally top 5 in every metric. He calls a ton of holding. I think in a way, obviously Sean Hockley is known for kind of, some ridiculous endings, and if the Rams keep this close, I am a little worried because Brady has only lost one game against Hockley, but when Hockley was the referee. But I'm going to bring up Hockley because it does actually matter. He has a tendency to throw more flags than most in the league, obviously way above average. And furthermore, he has a tendency to throw a lot on holding calls. He actually throws one of the most, when it comes to holding. That might be a beneficial thing for Aaron Donald, who they're going to be looking at. If Ryan Jensen's not 100% and Aaron Donald and Greg Gaines are going to come crashing through the interior, you're going to see holding. And he's going to hold, and I think it's going to get called. So, you have Von Miller, you have Leonard Floyd, those guys as well. If Tristan Wirfs isn't healthy, then there's potential, Wirfs is going to be holding the whole game against, Leonard Floyd or Von Miller. I'll tell you right now, with Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams on the outside, there's a very good chance. I'm not saying the Rams are going to blow out Tampa, but I wouldn't be surprised. Once again, I said it against the Cardinals. I'll say it again. Wouldn't be surprised that the Rams are truly on a mission and they're truly on a revenge tour. And the Niners game was the last thing, really, where if they won that game, they might have been setting themselves up for a letdown. But instead, because they lost the game against the Niners, now they just have to win 4 straight. And they've already won one of them, so now they just have to win 3 straight to go to the Super Bowl and win it. It's that simple. You win this weekend, you have one more game to get to the Super Bowl. See, when you think about it, the playoffs simplified, it's really not that difficult, but it is in the moment. I think the Rams are ready for the moment, so I'm taking them 31-20. Moving on, that long segment goes into Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Arrowhead Stadium. The game of the weekend. The 11-6 Buffalo Bills, the 3rd seed, taking on the 2nd-seeded Kansas City Chiefs at 12-5. Kansas City, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 32.2 points per game in the playoffs with Mahomes as quarterback. It is the highest in NFL history with a minimum of 5 starts. This game is going to be crazy. We already know the Rams are facing the Niners in this prediction. We have that set up. NFC title game. We'll go with that. And we have the Titans. But who's going to be playing the Titans? The Bills are playing some great football. The defense is top in the league, and right now, I think Sean McDermott has that team really responding the right way from losing that game against the Patriots, where they just basically they let Mac Jones only throw 3 times and still lost. They have not been the same, and in a good way. He's really led them. Brian Daboll doing a great job as the offensive coordinator, looking like a very likely head coaching candidate. Josh Allen really stepping up, having an incredible postseason to start in the first round. And on top of it, the run game has been somewhat fixed. So now the Bills can run the ball, and it's not just Josh Allen. This intrigues me. And, it intrigues me because I feel like the Bills the whole year, their biggest issue, at least in my opinion, is when you look at a guy like Devin Singletary or Zach Moss or, Matt Breida or whoever, none of those guys really were playing that well. Devin Singletary, to me, always had it in him, but can never really get into a rhythm, I felt, because they were doing that committee backfield approach. Zach Moss, I felt like, was a good goal line back, but for whatever reason, they'd put Matt Breida in at the goal line. So, to me, the Bills kind of went through a little bit of a trial and error type of phase. And I can't blame them for it, but I'm glad, at least for their sake as a football fan, they have figured out the run. On the flip side of things, I don't know if Kansas City is going to have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Probably not. So it will be Darrell Williams and potentially Gore as well. And Derek Gore has actually played pretty well. Darrell Williams has been able to help you, obviously in the passing game, and he's good against the good in the run game, and of course he can block. But really, this is going to come down to the big time playmakers. It's Mahomes versus Josh Allen. It is Travis Kelce and of course Tyreek Hill versus Stephon Diggs and, the guys in Buffalo. I mean, Dawson Knox is not somebody you want to sleep on. He's done a great job. The Bills actually have beaten the Chiefs. They have been in the postseason, so this is a postseason revenge game. They're back, where it all started last year at Arrowhead. This is a big opportunity for the Bills. This is really their monkey off their back. They're trying to get over this hump. This is going to be a very, fun game. I'll be surprised though if it is incredibly like an explosive game, if it's super high scoring, because I think both defenses are playing well at this stage in the year. You look at Kansas City, their defense has been really good the last 8 games. They started off struggling, and that's why Kansas City at one point was looking like, who knows if they'll even make the playoffs. But the defense under coach Steve Spagnuolo has really done a nice job of turning it around, and I really like what I've seen out of Chris Jones, somebody that they tried to work as an edge defender, and unfortunately for them, they found out it didn't work, and so they put Chris Jones back into the interior, and he's really just picked up where he left off. He's one of the best interior defensive linemen in football, and he's going to stay that way as long as they keep him there. You're getting some great things out of Nick Bolton at linebacker, the rookie linebacker in the second round out of Mizzou. Just love to see what he does. Sideline to sideline ability, solid in coverage. And then, of course, you have guys like the Honey Badger in the back end of the secondary. Tyrann Mathieu has been huge to this team. L'Jarius Sneed, maybe not having his best season because last year was his best season, but he's dealt with some injury. I think he can definitely play as well. So there are guys all over the place, but with Buffalo, you have Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, who just have played so well in the back end of that secondary. The loss of Tre'Davious White has sucked, but it really hasn't derailed them. I think they've done a nice job of sticking with it despite losing him. And then, of course, Matt Milano being that guy in the middle of the defense as a linebacker, he's really made, his presence felt. And I just think the interior's done a really nice job as well. So looking at this game, I'm going to say it's going to be a close one. It comes down to a last-second field goal. We'll say 24-21, and I'm going to go with Kansas City Chiefs to head to the AFC title game and head to Tennessee. I think that the top 2 teams are going to make it in the AFC. I think the Bills are ready, but unfortunately, I just think the Chiefs got hot at the right time. It's going to be, one of those things where it's hard to really call, but it'll come down to the wire, and I think Mahomes will get them in field goal range to win the game. But the Bills, they can't feel too bad. I mean, obviously it sucks, but losing against the Chiefs in the second round of the playoffs, I mean, you're playing against, probably the best team in the AFC as it stands right now in the second round. Bills just came off a great performance against the Patriots, so it will not surprise me in the slightest if they win this game. To be honest, I kind of want them to, but I'm feeling like it's going to be a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl, and I did say that. I walked back my prediction on the Chargers, I think, right around November, December. But, I just think that when you have everything that the Chiefs have, the way things are starting to move along, Andy Reid's done a great job of getting that team back on track. I'm sorry, guys. I can't pick the Bills. I just feel like the Chiefs are trending upward. And, if this was in Buffalo, maybe I pick Buffalo. But I do think, home field advantage, especially at Arrowhead, is going to matter. And so that's why I decided to go with the Chiefs. So that is that on the predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed again. I will replay them. I have the Titans knocking off the Bengals in a close game. The 49ers beating the Packers in a close game. The Rams winning by 11 against Tampa on the road, and the Chiefs beating the Bills. No idea what I'm saying. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will be live again later on today to do a Q&A. I hope you enjoy the setup as well. This will be the new setup. I like it. I figured out a way to make my camera look better. Even though the camera's fantastic, there's a little feature called, I think it's picture profile, and so I found this profile and I like it way more than the other one. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at my other streams. I like my other streams, but I definitely wish I was in this a lot more. I feel like I'm more comfortable in this type of this setup, and furthermore, what I'll say is it reminds me of my office. So when I had the office, I had more room and everything. I like this a lot. I like the Michael Myers mask in the background. Rams helmet will be back there soon. I do miss that thing, so it will be back there soon, and we'll continue to try to update and just make, get 1% better every day. So really do appreciate you guys again. Be sure to like this if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up again to like it. We have 43, so I'd really appreciate, since we're over 110, I'd really appreciate if everyone could just go ahead and give this thing a thumbs up before they head on out of here. And I will do a live stream later on doing a Q&A. Anybody that has any questions about anything, could be about, the Rams, could be about the NFL, Moon Knight, betting, whatever. Really excited to do those. I'll be doing those consistently. The reason I didn't do a live stream the last 2 days is simply because I lost my voice. I overdid it, and I'm known to do this. I overdid it. I did 3 streams, a total of over 6 hours on Monday, and I regretted it because Tuesday and I don't regret it, but Tuesday and Wednesday my throat was not the same, my voice was not the same, so that's why. Once again, just really do appreciate everyone being in here. I'm not going to put up the loop stream quite yet because I have another stream going on. I don't want to have to cancel that again. So I'm not going to do that, but I'll put that up later on. And so essentially when I'm not live streaming, you will see a JE Live 24/7. Don't let that haunt you. That just means that it's replaying the old JE Live ones that you missed. So if you missed any of them, you want to be able to get into the action of being able to talk with people live. The cool thing is that it does have that live chat feature. So when I'm live and I'm, rebroadcasting old, shows, you can watch those, and you can watch those with people. And I thought it was really cool. It worked out today. Again, really appreciate the donations I got. Was not expecting that. Was able to write some articles, talk to you guys a little bit here and there. It was definitely a lot of fun. So once again, guys, really do appreciate you being here. Be sure to hit that thumbs up, hit the bell icon, and subscribe. And I will see you guys soon. Actually, probably in about 3 hours. We'll do a Q&A at 8:30, I think. So hope to see you guys there, and you guys take care if I don't. Later.